there's conferences, there's trade shows, and now there's Stephen Farrig's retreats. What happened? Why'd you set it up? And I guess we'll go from there.
Okay, first of all, it's not Stephen Farrig's retreats. I'm not a camp counselor.
SFRs.
So Bruce and I are obsessed with this podcast, My First Million. I'm just gonna say it. Love the guys there, Sean and Sam. We get a lot of inspiration. We're part of an exec group that they're in. There's some industry folks in there. They put on retreats, and one of the things that they did is they said they rented out an Airbnb. They invited 15 industry folks and peers. We're talking like the founder of Airbnb, Mr. Beast, right? And they just spent good time together. That's it. It's called Camp MFM. And we both listened to it and we're like, damn, I was kind of jealous of it. I was like, this sounds so cool. And so when we go to conferences and trade shows, they're exhausting. Like at the end of the day, I just want to go back to my hotel room and stare at the ceiling because I've just been answering questions all day. Like they're tough.
Or put your feet in the air to
put my feet in the air. Yeah, my
brain.
feet. Yeah, and I love them. Right, you meet so many people. You don't know where the night's gonna go. You end up hanging out with Nick Wood, whatever. Right, and then we have like Print Hustlers and ThreadX and some of these really enriching conferences with incredible speakers where you're going there to learn. But I really wanted to do something with just a small group of people that was like more chill, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I have I have a great text group of shops that I'm in. And it kind of has naturally formed over the years. They're like, they've turned into such a good group of friends. Bruce, you're not in it. Sorry.
I know. I asked about it once and, they're like, yeah, I mean, you could join. It's just that we don't have vendors. I was like, I don't want to make it weird.
And I was very intentional about that. And so I was texting, and I'm one of the youngest ones in there, right? And I was like, hey, if we rented out a house for a weekend or for 2 or 3 days, would anyone be interested? And it was like, yeah, we're in. And so I sent out a poll, and I said, we're going to do it from Sunday to Wednesday or Sunday to Tuesday because everyone's got families. Everyone's got excuses. Like weekends are so busy. Yeah. There's no way we're going to get full participation.
I've also found that out. Getting older, weekends are a wash. So
weekends are a wash. Weddings, you name it. And so we landed on a like 3 days in May, which happened a couple weeks ago. And we set this up probably 5 months ago. And then I basically was like, okay, what's your budget? I'm going to go out and find the nicest Airbnb I possibly can. Because if we're going to do this, we're going to go somewhere nice. We're going to spend time together, and we're going to try to make it as chill as possible.
Where'd you guys pick?
We ended up doing Scottsdale, Arizona. We got this really cool Airbnb, had pickleball courts, pools, whatever. It was an awesome time. And, 13, 14 grown men in a house under one roof. This isn't like a bachelor party where people like can just sleep on the floor. And so I was like trying really hard to make sure everyone had a bed, right? And there was privacy, right? And it wasn't just like a shit show, if you will. Because I don't think that's really what the premise of it was.
I also bunk beds?
There were some bunk beds, but I also didn't want to overschedule either because I think some of the best conversations come in downtime. That's the
beauty of the best. Right. Yeah, I agree.
And so we booked it, and I said, hey, if you want to go, Venmo me $500. They all sent it all in. And really it came out of like, then once we set the date, the like group kind of got pumped for it, which was awesome. It was super exciting. Nice. And then, the closer we got, being that we're all business owners and adults and like no one's really babysitting each other, everyone kind of divvied up roles, right? So a couple guys were like, we're going to take over food, right? We're going to take over an event. We're going to plan this out. We're going to plan this out. And everyone just kind of I'm going to grab rental cars, right? And we ended up, a group of us went golfing the first day, kind of before it started. We went out to an awesome dinner. The following day, we went on a hike together. We grilled out, so we really wouldn't have to leave the house because the house was so nice. We're like, why are we going to just like go to, we'll just keep everything here.
So who was manning the grill?
I'll share, TC Tyler was there and he was manning the grill. TC owned food and crushed it.
That's amazing. Nailed it. Shouts out.
it was a Monday afternoon and we're all sitting in a pool just hanging out and talking. Right. And we all own companies together. And it was the first time that I've ever gotten to experience something like that. And I made one mistake, one fatal error.
What was that?
So I was like, okay, we want to have some sort of entertainment, right?
What'd you get? Male stripper?
No, no, none of that. I decided to hire a hypnotist.
You were going, because Brett always does the magician or the.
Have you ever been to a show with a hypnotist where it's just freaking insane?
I don't think I've ever seen a hypnotist.
Okay,
in real life.
I've done it a couple times. I've never been hypnotized, but I've seen other people do it. And I was like, this is so cool. So I did a bunch of research, found a guy on Instagram, TikTok that had hundreds of thousands of followers, reached out to him, booked him, set up like, hey, 15 of us. He's like, oh, this is going to be amazing. I think we got duped.
You had the intern version of the hypnotist. They said that, or they definitely didn't send out the guru. It sounds like
I didn't check reviews. I think I just checked the fact that they had so many. I think the fact that they had, and it was his last second, they had so many followers on TikTok and Instagram that I was like, oh, they must be legit. They must have gone viral. Like they're probably on America's Got Talent or something. This will be great, right? And they come and we're all being good sports about it, right? Because you kind of have to follow in suit of what they tell you to do. And first person goes up and you can tell like nothing's happening. All right, here we go. And then he's like, okay, you didn't work. Fine. Next person comes up, tries it out.
Who was the first person that came up and was just staring?
I think Matt Marcotte tried for the first time.
Oh my gosh. What a funny picture.
So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, maybe we should have just hired a magician or not done this. Or maybe a business coach next time. Because I was like,
how long was it? It was like an hour.
An hour. It was the longest hour of our lives. We wanted to end so.
Were you just laughing or no?
I mean, we were laughing. We were like, is this actually happening right now? This poor guy realizes he's striking out. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you're a pro. What the heck? I think he was like a guy that if you go to Vegas or if you go to Vegas, the street performers that say like, I'll hypnotize you.
Yeah.
I think we got one of those. Anyways, 9 people later and an hour later.
Oh, everybody.
We tried. We were trying so freaking. And I was like, put me in, coach. Like, I'm going to try deep breathing. We're going to see if this works. And then I'm like, so I felt pretty stupid. But my friends in good form were like, hey, that was a memory that we will have for the rest of our lives that we will share together. And then we hung out for the rest of the night and then we flew out the next day and that was the trip.